Shabbat Shalom, Temple Sinai, and welcome to another edition of the Haftarah Drop. I'm Rabbi Michael Shields, Associate Rabbi here at Temple Sinai. This week's Haftarah continues the sibling dynamic that you see in the Torah, of course, between Jacob and Esau and their reconciliation. But in Obadiah, this week's prophetic reading, it's a moment that holds up a mirror to it. Because if the Torah gives us the story of two brothers trying to reconcile, the prophet Obadiah gives us the long aftermath. The story of their descendants, Jacob and Esau, becoming Israel and Edom, nations that continue the conflicts that their ancestors started. Obadiah is one of the shortest books of the entire Bible, just one chapter. But there's prophetic force in that chapter. When a nation uses its power to exploit the vulnerable, when it stands aside or even celebrates that and celebrates suffering, that is a violation of brotherhood. It says, you stood aside on the day of your brother's downfall, and you were like one of them. He's speaking to Edom, he's speaking to Esau's lineage, but he's also speaking to us. The prophetic voice is always less about ancient moments and more about today. It asks, where have we stood aside? Where have we allowed fear or pride or comfort to stop us from showing up for someone we call family? By the way, biological or communal. Where are we still avoiding conversations we should have had years ago? And yet Obadiah isn't only about critique, it's about vision, about the future. In the final verses, the prophet imagines a world where justice rises like a mountain and people return home in safety, in dignity. A world where the descendants of Israel and Edom no longer define each other by old hurts. A world where power serves righteousness, not domination. That's the prophetic imagination. Not punishment, but possibility. Not vengeance, but vision. And of course, in Vayishlach, we see a living example when Jacob bows 7 times as he approaches Esau. It's often misunderstood as submission, but Judaism reads it differently. Jacob isn't groveling, he's choosing respect. He's signaling, I see you. I see the wound. I want to meet you differently this time. And Esau, by running towards him, responds with his own courageous act. He chooses relationship over resentment. Reconciliation. The Torah teaches, our scripture teachers, is not forgetting. It remembers differently. And Obadiah pushes the lesson further. Justice is not vengeance. It's a reordering of power so that dignity becomes possible again. It is love with memory. And that's where I think Reform Judaism speaks so clearly. We don't romanticize reconciliation. We don't pretend that hurt isn't real. We don't force forgiveness for the sake of a pretty ending. We say first truth, then justice, then maybe repair. Because the way back to yourself often goes through the other. And the healing of a community goes through the hard work. A community has to go through the hard work of naming what's been broken. So if you're carrying something unresolved, a relationship where fear or pride has kept you stuck, Shabbat, especially this Shabbat, with the Haftarah being Obadiah, with the Torah portion being what it is an invitation to do what our ancestors did. Wrestle with it. Face it. Walk forward with courage. And if you're carrying an Obadiah moment, witnessing injustice, feeling the ache of a world out of balance, this is also a Shabbat to rise, to ask, where can I show up? Where can I refuse to stand back? Where can justice and compassion meet in me? Because reconciliation without justice is sentimentality, and justice without reconciliation is incomplete. But together they create something powerful, a future where the descendants of old enemies can walk side by side. Meet your brother, your sister, your neighbor. Fear will feel smaller then. The way back to yourself goes through the other. Justice is love with memory. Reconciliation is remembering differently. Shabbat Shalom, Temple Sinai. May this week be one of courage, truth, and small steps that make healing possible.